We're getting ready to see the green flag.
One thing always crazy here, wait till they get started. You're going to see the visibility go down to 0. Once that spray gets up, it's going to be hard to go through turn 1.
Plenty of mist coming off the back end of these karts. The only drivers who have a potential clear line of sight are the front row. Green flag, the lights are out, and it looks like a hand goes up possibly. I don't see any yellow flags waving. We are racing. Clean start, it looks like, as your front row gets away. No spinning in the middle of the corner. We are off and racing here. We'll see him come out of the exit at turn number 2 here. Austin Osborne got a great start. Scott Falcone slots in behind second. No, Falcone on the lead as they come out at 2. He is your leader. Boy, they look like they're going a little bit slower than they should.
No, that's about right. I'm telling you, this track, remember, these guys are going around this racetrack for the very first time in the wet. They have no idea how bad it's going to be out here, where the slick spots are going to be. They're all just tiptoeing around right now, trying to find out where the grip is on this racetrack.
So Osborne got a great start, had the lead on the exit of 1, but by the time they got down and through turn 2, Scott Falcone took the lead. He's bouncing through puddles as they head through 7, 8, and 9. We are done with our first lap here in the rain. And Ken, you bring up a great point.
Our first collision, Tony, it's a slow speed, low speed one, and the guy gets going again.
Gabriel Vargas, the number 0, goes off on the outside of turn number 7. Vargas into the wall.
And we have a race for the lead at the start of the second lap going down into turn 1. Osborne takes it back, but he slides wide on the exit of 1. Falcone gets a good run on him. They head down to turn number 2.
Vargas again off the racetrack on the exit of turn number 9, so he's having trouble negotiating this racetrack here as we have a new leader as Osborne's been able to go back out in front here.
He's been perfect so far this weekend, Ken, and as I said earlier, the lap times are coming down considerably slower, as you mentioned, before this race started.
Yeah, indeed, and I just feel for Gabriel Vargas because he earned himself a third-row start in this grid of, what is it, about 28 drivers.
Yes,
but
sir.
Just in the opening lap, he's found that even tiptoeing, I was going to use the word that Rob used, even that doesn't get you safe.
Certainly. Now, there's a big puddle down there on the apex turn number 7. It's a curb here on the city street, so when those guys hit that, lots of water flying up and hitting them. So Osborne now going to challenge with Falcone on the outside.
Great race at the front, and nevertheless, the circumstances are difficult, but what a great race at the front.
Certainly. As we see the exit of turn 2. We have more drivers off. That's the 228.
It's like Jose Ruiz.
It is Jose Ruiz. Osborne now with a good gap over Falcone as they exit 2, now into 3. He had a good run between turns 1 and 2. He's put the most ground we've seen between the two yet.
That's the 15 as well off the racetrack, I believe, over there. The 15 of Jesus Robles, I think, out in turn number 4.
A second row starter.
Yeah, Robles in 4, Ruiz over in turn number 2. Some attrition already. And again, guys, here's another driver spinning right in front of us here at start finish.
That's the 88. I believe that's a Manis.
Marissa Campbell, is that?
It is Marissa Campbell. She had bad luck. She was involved in a pretty bad accident here last year. We're just happy to see her back and running now as she pulls off right in front of the leaders right now.
Again, what we see here in the rain so many times, Ken, is that gap between drivers who have maybe experience or the high level of talent. Some drivers that are maybe newer to the sport, the gap separates. Obviously, some of the drivers that don't know how to drive in the rain, it's just so difficult to learn on a street circuit.
No substitute for experience.
That's true enough.
Experience in rain racing, you are right on, Ken. So now Osborne using that lapper of Marissa to put a little bit more room between he and Falcone, and these guys are already catching lappers 4 or 5 laps in. We have another driver spun on the exit of turn 9 here.
And on screen, a front runner getting, maybe it was a back marker easing people through.
I believe it was. They're already hitting lap traffic here early on in this race, Ken. Osborne looking good now as they head through 7, back into 8 and into turn 9. They'll pass us here in a moment. We'll look at the gap as they come by, but Osborne definitely stretching things out a little bit over Falcone.
Let's have a look at the top 10, folks. Give you a little early race update here. Austin Osborne, the 21-year leader. The number 2 of Falcone runs in second. Ronnie Price in the 43 now third. Bradley Smith up to 4th in the number 52. Brian Fisher, the number 90, now running in the 5th position. Ryan Rush in 6th. Juan Gomez sits 7th. Nick Martin in 8th. Randall Burnett in 9th. And Brian LaBarbera rounding out your top 10.
I'll tell you what, folks, we've got the scoring monitor. We've got a bunch of great stuff set up in front of us. But don't forget, if you're in the pits, if you're watching on Kart Racing Network and you want to see the live feed, go over, get on your iPhone, your Android, your iPad, whatever, and open up Race Monitor. Great app to help you keep up to date on all the racing that's going on here in Texas as well as all over the world.
Good run here for Brian Fisher. Started in the 17th position. Fisher now up into 5th. 5th spot right now for Brian Fisher from almost dead last.
It's a good run for Brian Fisher. He's running 3 classes.
Watch your leader. Your leader, number 21 of Osborne.
Osborne off in turn 9. That's going to allow Scott Falcone to sweep by and take the lead. Osborne is up and out of the cart. Something's wrong with it. He's not even going to try and refire it. He's done.
We got more contact. We can hear it behind us here over in turn number 5. The hairpin a couple drivers together. But that was your leader, the number 21 of Austin Osborne, off the racetrack at the exit of turn number 9. Here's your leader now coming through turn number 2. Scott Falcone has got no one around him. Falcone in the arrow. Number 2, your outright leader.
Bradley Smith now occupies the second position. That's going to bump Brian Fisher up to third. They're picking Osborne's cart up and taking it to the inside of turn 9. Must have bent an axle or something. He hit that pretty hard. They are done, which is a terrible way to see him end the day.
No doubt about it. He was quick.
It is, and we were getting, despite the conditions, it was only, I think, 0.6 of a second between them a couple of laps ago, 0.9 of a second on the lap before that incident. So we've actually been robbed of what might well have been a decent race at the front.
That's where I wanted to go. That was really a fantastic little race we had going there, as both of those drivers were running so well, just right together, working back and forth. But again, we talked about this. You can push when you're in the wet. You go over the edge, and you know there's going to be trouble.
Boy, Falcone, though, being the beneficiary of that, he is out in front by a lot over Bradley Smith. He has got a huge lead right now. No one around him. Karts continue to spin on the exit of turn 9 and slapping up against that barrier.
Number of drivers off, including the number 25 of Ryan Rush. That's Brian Fisher, the number 9. He's bent an axle. Brian Fisher from 4th position has bent an axle on the DR kart. He is done.
And as you said moments ago, that was a great drive, wasn't it, early on? And it's so sad to see the guy, but we talked about the leveler, and here it comes. Bradley Smith, incidentally, one of the few guys to send in a driver bio to me, so let me give you a call about him. He's running in second place at the moment, 16 years of age, from Irving, Texas, so relatively local here. A student, been karting for just 2 years, best ever results, second place in the NTK Championship, and he also got the Most Improved Driver Award at NTK, so he's going pretty good here, sponsored by Champion Racing.
Bradley Smith running in the second position right now. Ronnie Price and Brian Fisher. Rob called out he has a bent axle, so that's terrible. Just rain, the great equalizer, truly. You're going to see some drivers that otherwise may not have run for a podium, but this rain truly shakes things up right now.
Well, I think this racetrack has shown itself to be very treacherous in terms of grip levels. Obviously, turn number 9, a lot of trouble drivers coming out of turn number 9. You just got to take your time. You got to be very comfortable with the amount of power you're rolling down here, but all it takes, as I said, you're just dancing on that razor's edge when it comes to the rain, when you're trying to put that power down a little too much and the car snap spins.
Certainly.
Well, at the halfway distance, guys, if my screen is telling me the truth, I think we've only got 12 runners of the guys. It was in excess of 20 who started. Marissa Campbell, who had that spin in front of us, she's in 12th place at the moment. She's on lap 7. Scott Falcone has completed 8 laps. So we've got guys who are on a double lapping situation, but 12 runners as we speak. This is lap 9 of 15 for race leader Scott Falcone.
Falcone running about 2 to 3 seconds quicker than anybody else on the racetrack. He is absolutely flying right now. Falcone coming up on a lap car, trying to find a way by.
I'll tell you what, he gets a lot of rain racing experience, Rob. We talked about it yesterday. Scott is a guy who's dedicated to this sport. He gets laps in all year round. Coming from Colorado, he flies out of state. He competes in other events. The Florida Winter Tour, he was at in Ocala just a few weeks ago. Lots of rain on Saturday in Ocala, so he's getting experience here.
Scott's having a little trouble with this lap car right now. He's kind of racing him. He's finally able to get by. Scott gives him little gestures as he goes by, because he did block him for quite a couple of laps, probably a couple of corners.
Ooh.
Scott able to go through. That's the number 468 remaining on the racetrack. Don't see a 468 actually on our...
Was it 46R, Randall Burnett?
Well, that's a possibility. It could be Randall Burnett, the 46R.
It was. That was Randall Burnett in the 4.6 that Scott just got around.
Oh, there's a spinner there. That's the number 88 going around
That's
again.
Marissa
That's
again.
Campbell. She's having a bit of trouble here in the rain, but you know what? She's keeping it out of the wall. Yeah. So right now she's got a top 10 possibly going. She's sitting in 12th position.
That's one of that. It's the dichotomy, isn't it? What do I give up the ghost and say, this is no good? No, keep going. Everybody else is having the same difficulty as you, with the exception of Scott Falcone, I guess.
Well, as you said, Ken, experience is everything, especially in the rain. You're not going to get this experience many other places, especially in Texas where they don't have a ton of rainfall. You need to optimize the opportunities when you have them.
Correct.
Yeah, Falcone now, I believe, is lapped all the way up to 7th position already.
He has. Randall Burnett, that was the driver he just got around, Scott.
Yeah, Richie Warren in 8th place, only just starting his 10th lap now. Well, Scott, sorry, you go.
I think that's Ronnie Price is closing up on you right now. Falcone closing on Ronnie Price to lap the driver in 6th position.
Wow, that is dominant. He's got everybody but the top 6 under a lap down.
Well, as Rob said moments ago, Scott Falcone's numbers just take some believing. 52.56 is his best, but that was on lap 2. On lap 10, he's done 52.933, so he's rolling these 52s when, with just one exception, Ryan Rush with a 53.89, everybody else is 54, 55, 56. So Scott Falcone, it's not only the experience, not only the driving skills, it's the know-how, isn't it? He's read this track perfectly for setup.
He's anywhere from a full second to a full 2 seconds quicker than the competition around him, Ken. You bring up a great point. The lap times are not only consistent, but they're good.
Right now, Scott Falcone right in front of the drivers, currently sitting in the 3rd and 4th positions, and he looks to try to lap the field here right now. He's right behind Nick Martin in the number 25, trying to find a way by. Scott obviously doing very good in the rain here now. He's got to be very gentle, doesn't want to get himself caught up. He has this race locked. He's just got to settle in here. He's 35 seconds ahead of Bradley Ryan right now. He's just got to bring it home smoothly. He's now by Nick Martin. Now he's going to work on Ryan Rush.
Well, he's on lap 12 of 15, so if he can negotiate these guys immediately in front of him, there is a little bit of a gap on the raceway then. But if I say it gets easier, those of you tuned into the Kart Racing Network, you don't need either Tony or Rob or myself to tell you about these driving conditions. It's a massive dimension, and there's turn 1, which in the dry is quite a challenge, as the weather actually worsens a little bit.
It is. It's
The rain's
unbelievable.
coming down harder.
It's unbelievable, but it's actually getting worse.
Well, folks, you see the debris to the, well, I wasn't meaning the kart that was stricken there, but there's a lot of debris on the circuit. So as well as the wet surface, as well as the everyday bumps that we have from an ordinary street road, a street racing on public roads, there's also debris as well. So it really is a challenge for these guys. And you know, everybody that's still circulating, and that's up to including 11th place Marissa Campbell, they really, really deserve praise. Michael Holder has gone through on to start lap 8. So he's actually 4 laps behind Scott Falcone, but running in 12th place.
So we see the 2 laps to go here, sign being given to all of our field. Scott Falcone picking that up quite a bit ago. He'll be coming around here in just a few moments to see the white flag. 1 lap to go here in the tag senior race. He's pulling double duty this weekend, tag senior now. He got outed by Robbie Mott in that Tag Master pre-final. That is going to be another good race. He's going to have that advantage, guys, over the rest of the Tag Master field. He has been out here in the rain already. He knows what to expect, and more importantly, he knows how to set up his Tag Master kart, which is very similar to his Aero Tag Senior entry for that Tag Master main event later today.
And I'll tell you right now, folks, if you can see it on the screen, the wind is picking up even more right now. It's coming across pretty heavily on us. So I'm impressed to see some of these drivers like Scott Falcone do so well. He's going to see the white flag this time by the stripe. It'll be 1 to go to Falcone. He slipped through the kink there onto the straightaway. And so now coming down.
And he's really slowed down now, guys. He's out of the 52s and just done a 53.6 with all that lapping of back markers. Even lapping back markers on the 14th lap, he's posted a 53.6.
Rarely does Scott Falcone back off, guys, but I think he realized that he has this race in hand.
It's
and he doesn't need to
just
push
drive
it.
home safely from here, isn't it?
Exactly. Try not to pick up too much extra water. Drive home safely, pick up the win. I'll tell you, we got something really cool here planned for all of our main event finishers today. Our head flagger, Matt Ackley, is going to be given double checkers, but in replacement of one of the checkered flags, we're going to wave him off with a checkered and a Texas flag, which originally we were planning to do a victory lap with the Texas flag. I don't know if we'll be doing that in the rain today.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But now,
nice to see the Texas flag being waved, though.
Texas pride as Matt Ackley brings him out, and Scott Falcone's going to come down here. A few lappers, he's got his hands up in the air. Checkered flag and Lone Star flag flies for your winner, which was Scott Falcone, our first main event winner of the day.
Falcone with the victory and dominant at that as he wins by probably around 30-something seconds, laps everybody but the number 2 driver, Bradley Smith, on number 52.
Wow. That is a dominant run for Scott Falcone as Bradley Smith comes home second. You said he lapped everybody but Bradley. Ryan Rush comes home third. Ronnie Price is fourth. Nick Martin rounds out your top 5. Juan Gomez 6th. Brian LaBarbera 7th. Richie Warren, Connor Clay, and Randall Burnett complete your top 10.
I'll tell you, a crazy race to get things underway. The track obviously showing its true character, very treacherous rather here, Kent, in the wet. Not only is it wet, but it's also pretty cold here right now as well. The grip level is obviously so far down.
Well,
they just gave the checkered
We
flag
just gave the Texas
to the wrong driver.
We just
To
gave
the
the
wrong
Texas
driver,
flag
never
to, I
mind.
think, the second or third
we
place
do
driver.
things differently at the Lone Star Grand Prix.
Well, he gets the Texas
That
flag.
was
and
Michael Holder in the number 8, I believe.
Actually, that was a good drive by Michael Holder because he had his issues yesterday, didn't he? And in the end, comes home in 12th place. He's only 4 laps down on Scott Falcone, but he's a finisher.
so we'll tell the
And
photographer.
Scott Falcone snatches the Texas flag from him and says, "Hey, maybe I'll do a lap with that."
So we'll tell the photographers obviously to take the photos of Scott with the Texas flag and not Michael Holder, but to the victor go the spoils. And it turns out we are going to do the victory lap here, as there is your winner, Scott Falcone, flying the Texas flag proudly here as our first of 10 main event winners today.
Again, folks,